I'm Paige and I'm running the camera.
I'm Keith.
I'm Missy. I'm Debbie. I'm Whitney.
And I'm Donnie.
Hi, I'm KyLee. As a student from TCC taking ASL 1, I have fallen in love with the deaf culture. First, I want to tell you guys a little bit about deaf culture, and later I'll get into what it has to do with all of us. Because deaf people have formed their own language and way of doing things, they do not just speak, but they sign ASL. They've created their own culture. I'm going to list some unique things about deaf culture provided from PEPNet 2, which is a federally funded project whose mission is to increase education, career, and lifetime choices available to individuals who are deaf or hard of hearing. As I do, I want you to think about how it compares to the Hearing Society. In the deaf community, it is important to remain strong eye contact and pick up on visual cues during communication. A few ways to get a deaf person's attention would be to tap them on the shoulder, to wave along in their line of sight, or to flicker a light switch. You don't want to yell at a deaf person because no matter how loud you yell, they're still deaf and they won't hear you. It is considered rude to watch two deaf people signing if you're not involved in the conversation. I learned that the hard way. It's actually called being nosy. You're eavesdropping. Also, it is a huge honor to receive a sign name. After you have been involved with the deaf community for so long, they give you a sign name that best suits you. Also, to deaf people, hearing loss is not a handicap. It is not considered a loss to be deaf. In the deaf community, deaf people are proud of their culture. Now here's where we come in. In Oklahoma, deaf culture is not something many hearing people are aware of. They don't have much knowledge about it. Just because they are proud of what they have accomplished doesn't mean it's okay. Doesn't mean that we're at a point today in Oklahoma for deaf people to be able to venture out of their community. In many different ways, we need to make Oklahoma become more accessible to the deaf community. And it starts with educating ourselves. As Oklahomans, wouldn't you want your state to be accepting of the other 70,000 people we're sharing it with? I know I do. The Gallaudet University Library informs us that the 70,000 is just the number of deaf adults in Oklahoma. Schools need to be provided for deaf people, and modifications applied when they go out in public. According to the U.S. News, right now there's only one deaf school in Oklahoma out of the 86 high schools. There's only one deaf school. If families don't, and it's located in Sulphur, Oklahoma, it's called the Oklahoma School for the Deaf, and if the families don't want to have to drive to Sulphur, they have to attend a hearing school and use their own money to hire an interpreter. We need to do our part in educating ourselves in deaf culture. Maybe you have a family member who is deaf or a friend and you want to help them. The best thing that you can do for them is just educate yourselves on their culture. I can almost guarantee you that once you start learning about the deaf community, you won't want to stop. Even if you don't have a connection with the deaf community, I suggest you branch out there and meet one deaf person. One common misconception is that they are dumb or mute. We need to educate ourselves in our society so our society doesn't see them as disabled. If we could use the government funding to open deaf schools in Oklahoma, that would be a step in the right direction. The president plans to provide an increase of $80 million in the next year compared to 2016 for Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. When you leave today, I want you to realize as you go about your daily routines how this world has built for you the most capable person. This world is built for people who are capable in every way. Realize that when you open your car, you notice that you've left your lights on by the dinging sound. Notice that when you stay at a hotel, you notice someone's at your door because they knock. Notice that whenever you need to wake up in the morning, you set your alarm clock and you wake up to the sound of your alarm clock. It's not that deaf people are lacking, it's that we are. We're lacking in the knowledge and awareness that they need a blinking light when on their dash that shows that they've left their lights on. They need a door knocker signal that detects the vibration from the door and flashes a light to alert them that somebody's knocking on the door. They need a vibrating alarm clock that can wake them up instead of sound. I know that the deaf community is a minority, but 70,000 is still a lot of people. There is more that we can do as Oklahomans to extend our knowledge in the deaf community. We're living in an age where technology is advanced. We can put that to good use. We can have funding to provide for the individuals with Disabilities Education Act. We need to use the money for the right things. So I'm telling you, just try it. Go out and educate yourself on the deaf culture. Maybe you'll fall in love with it like I did. Thank you.